Hi, this is Theo from PocketBlocks.com. Today I'm going to color this sketch that I drew in a cafe last week. The cafe is called The Reading Room. If you are a supporter on my Patreon page, you will have access to the full-length tutorial where I talk about how I mix the colors. If not, you will have access to the time-lapse video. Let's get started. So this is the cafe. I was seated somewhere around here. And the vanishing lines are pointed towards this area here, so you can see all the converging lines going towards this direction. As I was drawing, I realized that my strokes became darker and bolder around this area. So this area here, you can see that the strokes are actually much lighter. Usually when you use thicker strokes, they will bring more attention, more contrast to the area, so it will make the drawing look as if they are in the foreground compared to thinner lines. So this area here, even though it's in the foreground, it's a bit contradicting because I use thinner lines by right. On hindsight, I should have used thicker lines, and I should use thinner lines for these areas here. And again, thicker lines here, and thinner lines around this area. But anyway, it's a good learning process to draw using different line weights. Let me show you the reference photo that I took at the cafe. Usually I would try to complete the sketch in the cafe itself, but I don't have time, so that's why I color it at home, and also I have the chance to do this video tutorial. The light is coming from the door here, so this is quite a dim cafe. And I took this photo using my camera, so I'm able to get the proper lighting because I dial up the sensitivity of the camera. Anyway, things to note is there are two main colors. One would be red, the other one would be yellow, and the rest are sort of like gray tones. So you can see here all the wood and the red doors, the red signs, the yellow and black and grays, gray chairs, black chairs. So really there are just four colors: white, gray, black, red and yellow. So that's what I'm going to capture in my watercolor sketch later on. I'm just going to put this by the side. So the things I'm using today would be, this is, by the way, it's a Khadi Papers sketchbook. 210 GSM cold press paper. I think there's a yellow stain here because I dropped one drop of coffee here. This is a rosemary pocket brush, and this is Mission Gold watercolors. I also have some spare pieces of watercolor here so that I can paint some color swatches before I start on the actual sketch, just in case, because I haven't been using this Mission Gold palette for a while. I want to test out the colors first before I add them onto the page. And paper towel, and of course water, 1 cup, and a smaller cup of water. So 1 cup is to wash the brush, the other cup is to get the clean water. The colors I'm going to use today will be permanent yellow, so I'm just going to drop some water here. Permanent red, just to make the pins wet. Phthalo blue, and this is probably raw umber. This is a brown tone color, so these 4 colors, not too much. So I'm just going to start by testing this color first. This is raw umber. I'm using too much water here, so I have to be very careful about how much water I use later. But you can see that this color and the color of the wall, it's about the same color. and some walls are a bit lighter. It's also the same color as the chair. So I'm just going to use this color straight from the pen like this and go in and color the shells. I might add some variation by putting some yellow, orange. This chair here is also brown. I'll keep some highlights here just to differentiate the chair against the cupboard. I'm just going to be very careful and go within the lines, try not to go outside of the line if possible. As I reach this area, I know that I'm going to color the skin tone using this same color as well, but I'll just add a bit of permanent red to it. There's this lamp here which is very bright, but a bit of color here. The underside of the cupboards all need to be colored. Now I'm going to mix the skin tone for the people sitting here. Just going to add the same color, raw umber, with some red. Again, I'm going to test it here. Maybe a bit more red perhaps. Okay, I think this is a nice color. I'm going to color the lighter part of the wall first, so it looks like some sort of a neutral tone. So I'm just going to mix all the colors into one. I'm going to use more water just in case. So I'm going to mix yellow and red. And I'm going to mix blue. Again, I'm going to test it on my card. Perhaps a bit more water. I think this should do it. This looks very close to the colors here on the wall. Maybe perhaps a bit lighter. So I'm just going to add a bit more water and I can start using it. So this area, oops, still looks a bit dark, but it should be no problem. It should dry lighter later on. As for the ceiling here, I'm going to use a more neutral color. I'm going to add a bit more blue. Let me show you the color. As I add more blue, it became something like this, and then I add a bit more red to it. So again, to test the color, let me just move this out of the way. I think this is the color that I want. Use a lot of paint here. And then add water to dilute the paint so that you can see the gradient. It becomes lighter as I move down. Okay, let me wash the brush and then use very clean water just to create this gradient here. So now my brush is almost soaked with clean water, so you can see the gradation here. I actually like this color, so I'm just going to use that color. I'll mix more of that color. It will take a while to get the correct mixture. Okay, I think this is dark enough, although I wasn't able to mix this color that I actually wanted. Maybe I'll start with the black first. So I'm just going to color this area here. The darker areas. Many of these people that are seated here are actually wearing black as well, but I'm going to go in and color them later on. So now I'm just going to color the chairs, maybe color the hair. Usually you will use black at the last stage. The legs of the chairs are actually black color. There's this telephone here. The frames here are black. I'm going to use my plastic palette because I don't have any more mixing space on my metal palette. So for this, I'm just going to mix permanent red. Same thing, I'm going to use permanent red for the wall here, and the color fades from dark red to lighter red at the bottom. This is a bit too bright, so let me add some brown to it. Test it here. It's quite challenging to move around the small spaces around, and once I move down I need to wash my brush to add in more water so that it will fade. Now I'm just going to go in and color the chairs. The guy is holding a handphone, so I have to be careful. This wall here is, this door here is red. There's a carpet here that's red as well. And this carpet here is red too. Color some of the books as well. I'm not going to use too much red for the books because this will be too striking. Most of the books are actually like black, white, and yellow, and a bit of blue. But you want to add some red just for some variation. Later when it's dry, I'm going to go in and add in another layer just to darken some of the areas. Remember the dark mixture that I mixed earlier? Now I'm just going to go in, let me wash my brush first. I'm going to go in and add in darker areas for areas that are not dry just now. And the underside of the table should always be dark. Color some of the books here. Okay, I'm going to leave this like this. Wash my brush and go in with the gray tones. I'll start with this person here. I don't have a photo of all these people here, so it's a bit challenging to know what they are wearing. So I'm just going to put some shades onto their shirt. More shade under the chairs. Switch over here and see. Let me try and darken this area here. Actually, I'm just going to use the raw umber areas here, so that at least I'll use a color instead of a darker shade color. It makes it less dead, makes colors more vibrant. If you compare this shade here versus this shade here, you can see that this shade here has more vibrant compared to this shade here. This area here is also backlit, so I can safely use my gray color here. This bookshelf here still appears to be a lot of quite bright, so I'm just going to go in and add in more shadow areas. The underside of the cupboards are always darker, so I should have colored this earlier, but this pillow should be brown, so I'm just going to use raw umber. I'm going to leave this to dry and come back later to add in the darker shadow. Now I will go around the sketch to look for areas that I should have colored but did not color. So it's like areas like this, just to give the cushion here some stripes. This chair here is backlit, so this chair here should be much darker. Carpet should be darker. And add some blue here. Maybe mix it a bit so that it's not so bright. Now I'm going to mix the really dark tones, like almost black. I'm going to write the words for the logo. Let's take a look at the logo again. The reading room, the words are in white, so I'm going to use my white gel marker here. This white gel marker is the Uniboss Signal UM-153. I'm just going to copy the words carefully. I will write a bit slower so that the ink comes out properly. If I write too fast, I find that the ink it will streak and the ink doesn't come out very nice. So I want the lines to be very thick. I want the white to be very thick to get the contrast. So I'll write a bit slower. So this is the completed sketch. I feel that this area here is a bit more patchy compared to the right side. I'm going to go in and add in some definitions for the leaves, the plants, because the pigment was too thick and the lines were lost behind. So I'm just going to go in and add in some detail there, and that's it. I will post a link to the scan of this sketch in the video description below so that you can check out the high resolution image. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so for more sketching tips, techniques, art product reviews, and more. See you in the next video. Bye.